It's late fall, almost mid-November at this time, and oh my gosh, is it breezy out. And it's not just breezy, there's actually a tropical storm or maybe a hurricane heading my way. So yeah, and if you're from Florida, you know that shouldn't be happening. November 1st is the end of hurricane season, so what are we doing here having this kind of weather? But it's not just the weather that's not going the way I expected it, it's also this entire vegetable garden. I mean, the reality is you maybe like me expected these to be covered in beautiful beans and tomato plants, and they're not. And the middle bed should have some nice bushy peppers, and they don't. And it did not go the way I thought it would. So I'm gonna take you through it, because here, I don't like to hide things from you guys. I don't wanna act like everything always goes the way I expect it, because it doesn't. And I think that's helpful, because I'm gonna talk you through what happened and then why I think that happened, so that we can learn. We can learn why my plants just, nope. But in spite of what didn't go well, I mean, hello. Ugh, I got all these sweet potatoes, so I'll show you that too. I mean, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Life gives you some problematic things, you learn something. So it's gonna be okay. So let's just get into a late fall vegetable garden. So it's been 2 months since we did our last tour video, and this should look very different than it does. I should have tall corn here, sitting there, ready to be picked. The beans should be feet higher than what they are. This middle bed, what should be in this middle bed? I should see little bushy pepper plants, and I should have onions all along it and beets, and they are not there. And over here, where did all my sweet potatoes go? Well, we'll talk about that too. And then here we've got papayas and bananas, and we'll talk about those ones too. But overall, I'm gonna say this did not go to plan, and we need to talk about why. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about these cattle panel trellises. I was so excited for these. I think you guys were so excited for these. We were excited to see what was gonna happen with them, how they were gonna just look gorgeous with all these beans growing way up them. And yet, they are shrimpy, they are wimpy. Okay, these actually aren't shrimpy and wimpy. These actually look pretty good. They are just not as big as we would expect. So I'm gonna tell you why. Because these are not the beans I planted originally. Let me show you the beans I planted originally. Here. This is one of the bean plants I planted. Oh, well, that's just sad. That's one of the bean plants I planted originally. This is one that I planted about a month and a half later. This is a bean plant from the original planting. These are what I planted a month and a half later. So what happened? Well, it all starts with the soil. So in order to prep this area, right, we had grass. Phenomenal, fantastic, our most favorite in Florida, St. Augustine grass. In order to get rid of it quickly, you can dig it up to expose the soil, or you can just cover it up. I opted into covering it up for a couple reasons. One is that it's annoying to dig all this stuff up. And two, I'm most likely gonna create a big weed situation, because it's not like I don't already have a bunch of weeds here. So one of the fast ways is to put a lot of mulch on top, which I did. My husband and I, we moved a lot. My kiddos helped with that too. So that was great. And then I put some soil, some organic soil we got from the big box store on top. So problem one, I did not go deep enough with the soil. We only went, maybe 3 inches deep with it. And really you wanna have, a foot to 18 inches of depth. Now, at the time, some of the soil I was putting down, not soil, some of the mulch I was putting down was really old mulch. It was about 5 months old. And because of that, I was hoping that would have been broken down enough for the nutrients to come through. But the thing was, it was not. And so there was not enough depth here. And because this is just organic box store soil, the odds that it's very nutritious is low, even though it's organic. Organic just means it's natural, does not mean it's nutritious. So what the signs that I saw was that these started off really well, and then they all turned yellow. They got yellow leaves that I will try to hopefully have a picture of this. I think I took some at the time. But I would say they were very similar to this. They all turned yellow like that. And that is just a sign of lack of nutrition. And so that told me right away that I had a problem. Now I tried to go and do some things to fix it, but I mean at that point the plants were super stressed. Here's another one hiding. And they really weren't going to recover. They didn't have a good start. And so that was when about 6 weeks in, maybe 2 months in, 6 weeks, probably 6 weeks, I went and I replanted a lot of it. I didn't fill in every space. These are tomatoes that I planted. And you can just see that everybody's going a lot slower than what I would expect. And that's really just because they don't have the depth. Now, this stuff is breaking down underneath. If I dug into it, because I've moved a whole pile of it this weekend with my husband, and it is breaking down pretty fast, but it's taking a little bit longer than expected. So that means this season I'm not going to really get the benefits as much. We're not going to be able to get as good of a crop, but that's okay. It's okay. We'll build this up over time. And I think that's one of the things. So when you vegetable garden, you know that you're going to have to deal with the fact that sometimes the first season that you set something up, it doesn't always go as well as you plan. But because of cost, you don't want to just dump everything into it. So the second round's doing a lot better, and that makes sense because it had an additional 6 weeks of this breaking down for it to start being able to get some nutrition. So yay, and they're looking pretty happy. So let's see, it was 6 weeks, so I think these plants now are about 4 weeks old, maybe 3 or 4 weeks old. So now they're looking really happy. Look at, they're a happy little green. And these I planted, and that's the good thing, is when you don't use all your beans up or all your seeds up, you can just replant where you've got problems. So that's what happened with my tunnels. It's a big bummer. These little tomatoes, I don't know. I'll talk more about what I'm doing with tomatoes and peppers. Let's go to this bed. So this bed was supposed to be peppers, tomatillos. The tomatillos would have been too early, but I just figured I'd throw them in because I was really excited. I kept a lot of the seeds. You can see, these are the eggplant plants. Eggplant plants? Yeah. Okay, and they are very green, very happy, very growing, and they've made no eggplants. Now my theory has been, up until now, because this is early November, is that they just really have not put the energy into making fruit because it's been very hot. I'm in zone 9B, 10A, and we only now are getting days. So it's been flowering, but we just really haven't been getting days. Similar idea, I think there was some nutrition impact, but different is we planted this with some soil, and because of the depth I had to dig to put the plants in the ground, these ones actually probably hit actual soil versus the little plants. And you can see, hi butterfly, oh you missed it. You can see that we do have some pests. I'm leaving them because I do get a lot of birds in the area. Oh, and I get lots of helpers. You see my helper? I get lots of helpers. So I leave them because I like to have a healthy ecosystem. Oh, more helpers. See? Lots of helpers in the yard. No, I did not buy the ladybugs. They just came along because that's what they do. When you have enough food for them, they'll hang out with you. But you can see this side. Now this side, this is where this was already a mounded area before we buried it in mulch. And you can see the plants have grown a bit faster. So I'm getting some height faster with these beans, so that's exciting. Sorry, I totally moved off this middle bed. Got distracted. So let's talk this middle bed. This middle bed generally has been a total and utter fail. But when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, or you just restart stuff. So since I know part of the problem is because of the way I built up this bed, I could have reset the whole bed, but I was like, let me see if we can just work with what we got. And so what I did is I started growing onions from onion scraps. And so that's what I'm doing. So you can see like this one's getting going. And what's cool is you might think, oh, that's gonna make one onion plant, but actually you can split this and it'll make 3. So right here is one I just split. Oh, I also cut off the onion tops because we're gonna make green onion soup. So this one was actually, these two were one scrap and now they're split. And then I think this one and that one were the same plant. And so I'll get that one going. So I've got 3 more plants right here. This one will be 1, this one will be 2, that one will be 2, I think, and then I think the one back there's got like 4. I'll show you how you can tell when you're gonna go plant them in the ground. Is you see these? Each one of these little circles, come on, don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be up to potentially 5 plants. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see that really well. There you go. So each one of these circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially plants. So that's very exciting. So see how they start when they're really little. This one right here, boop. Potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, and they might not all take off, and that's okay. Another thing, well, with the plants that failed that I originally planned for fall, I actually also planned to grow this, and this is garlic. I had ordered this garlic, it's a red garlic, and I'm really excited about it, but the seed company had problems sourcing, I guess, because of, I don't know, something this year. So these are gonna all be this red garlic, and it's really cool because when we opened them up, they had a very smoky scent to them, which was really unique. So I'm really excited. I've not grown garlic before, so I'm excited to try this. Also, I just threw in some garlic because you can grow them from scraps too. I don't know if those ones will work as well here, so excited for that. So another thing that's happened in the garden is there was a pathway that my son built. Our neighbors tore up their pool deck and they were just like, hey, do you guys want these? And we took them almost a year ago and they've just been sitting around. My son decided he would build a fun little path in our garden. So I'm excited for that. So this will be a fun little thing. He had a blast. He did it all by himself. Can you imagine? He's super young and he figured out how to make this coordinating pattern. I'm proud of him. So now we're moving into this bed. This bed was meant to be corn. This bed did not do good. This was the first bed that I started realizing I might have a problem. And then it delayed me a little bit because we did have some corn take off. There's one. Except something started eating all the corn. So I would plant the corn, they would start to go, and then the corn would totally go missing. And I could see tons of holes in here. So we had to change plans. Because I realized it didn't matter whether the soil was good or the soil was bad, we had a corn thief. And I could have put some fencing up, but honestly, it just became to the point after, I think I replanted this 3 times, that I just switched gears. So here were some green onions I moved from one of my other green onion pots. These were all from when it bolted. They were little seedlings. They weren't getting enough space, so I decided to move them over here and also create some perimeter prevention from pests. Next thing is I got some of my winter crops going a little early, so we're gonna try the cauliflower and broccoli. I reseeded some beets just to have some fun, see if that would work. And I left a couple corn, but now with Storm Ada heading our way, the corn is gone. So let's talk about something fun. How about decorating for Halloween? I had a blast with the family decorating the garden for Halloween. I'm about to take these decorations down, but I had so much fun. Look, we got these little pumpkin guys. There are witches hanging from the Ponciana. We've got little pumpkins. These were literally like $5 for a whole bunch of them. I put little holes in the bottom so they could drain. And now look, little jack-o'-lanterns hanging from our tree. So that was super fun. Over here we've got our grand name banana. So you can see how much it's grown in 2 months, a lot. And our other grand name already put on its first bunch of bananas. Can you believe that? I was shocked to find out it had gone so early. This is insane that it would be this early on. The reason I think it was able to do this, because I don't think this is typical, is this was actually one, it was in my backyard for a while and it was not getting good light. So it is older than it appears, but I was still surprised. And I think some things that are helping it, one, mulch, two, the way that the ground is sloped from here to there is that it's going to allow for a lot of water to come down, nutrition to come down, from any other plants. So I think that helps it. So it's kind of on the slope. But shocked. Like 3-4 months after I planted it, whole bunch of bananas. And then the papaya, oh my goodness, this papaya is getting huge. I cannot wait to start harvesting. These guys are getting bigger and bigger. And you'll see in my upcoming food forest video, but I moved one of my little baby papayas over here, and now we've got a second papaya. But one of the things I want to say, look at how big this thing is. Let me go further back so you can see. Look at how huge this papaya is. It is 20 feet tall. This thing is 9 months old, and it is 20 feet tall. This is huge. It provides a lot of shade to that area. So I'm looking forward to having this one because I think, again, we talk about more on the native videos about creating shade for hard heat load structures like the sidewalk. This will be another one. That one provides so much shade to that sidewalk. And it's really cool. Actually, one of the fun things we do is we put a kiddie pool right here. You might have seen, I think in the cattle panel video, we'll put a kiddie pool right here for the kiddos because it stays almost entirely shaded the whole time. Probably why there's a bare spot there. So the sweet potatoes. So this was the area that we expanded in a couple months ago. And now it was time to harvest. So we harvested this whole area, and I'll show that here. Okay, so you've seen me harvest the green onions. I've already harvested them a second time since we went and had our video where I harvested. And now it is time to harvest the sweet potatoes. I am not harvesting this section because I only covered this up since the beginning of fall, but this, I think I harvested early summer, so here we are in almost mid-November, and it's time to harvest sweet potatoes. So there you go. That is the sweet potato harvest. So you can see I roll up the sweet potatoes almost like a carpet, and they're all over here on this side, and then we bury them with a really deep mulch. I don't know if you can tell from this section over here, but we already done a really deep mulch where these sweet potatoes were, and now we've added a whole depth here, and that's just really to give the next slope, because these plants will expand back into this area. So I don't need to go and really plant, even though there are some little sweet potatoes, there's a bunch of little ones that got eaten and stuff like that that we left behind, and they will take off, but these ones will also just bounce back into this area. For those who enjoy my companion planting with firebush, this thing is about 5 feet tall now, and it was planted this summer. Isn't that crazy? Look how big this is. Big. The other one is not as big. I think that's more a couple things. There was more shade hitting it from the pine. Plus that area I just don't think had as much nutrition in it. But it'll take off. I'm not worried. This guy's gonna come in eventually. But look at this. Look at how big this is. So what am I gonna go and do now about the fact that my soil sucked for like a good few months? Well, I got some seeds going. So I just planted these the other day with my kiddos, and basically I'm creating a more controlled environment. I had some potting soil and some garden soil already existing, and so I took a lot of the spare seeds and I put them in here. So I got peppers, I've got, what did I have? I have jalapenos, I've got pepperoncinis, I've got some apple peppers. Oh, I got some grape peppers. Oh, wait, let me think what they're called. Ahia peppers from my neighbor. I'm totally butchering that. I will try to find the name again from her. And then I think I have else did I put in here? Oh my god, I totally forgot. I think there's probably some broccoli, cauliflower. There might be beans. My kids planted some of these. I'm sure I'll be surprised by whatever's in here by the end of this. But basically, we're gonna get them going. Try it this way too. We'll do some transplants. See if this works a little bit better. Because you know what, you just roll. You just roll what you gotta do. I think that's one of the things about gardening, is just you gotta be resilient. You just gotta go, okay, didn't work, let's try something different, or we just gotta try again later. And you just keep it moving. That's what I do. And while this didn't go to plan, I mean, I would have loved these to be totally covered in beautiful beans and tomatoes and squashes already. I mean, the reality is there's still a lot of wins. I mean, look at all these sweet potatoes, and I've got bananas, and papaya is still coming in. So there's still gonna be pounds and pounds and pounds of food for this year. It's just gonna look different than I expected, and I think that's okay. And look, even though it didn't start really well, it's going. And we're gonna check back in winter. So if you wanna make sure you don't miss that, go ahead and like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notification. New videos each week on Friday, and sometimes a bonus on Sunday. And while you wait, go ahead and check out this, and YouTube thinks you'll like this. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.